Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah, and welcome back to the 350 Bird Challenge.
In this video we've headed west to try to pick up a few more of those incoming spring migrants. We also have some updates on the channel and life in general, so stay tuned for that. We'll be back after this intro. Hi everyone, welcome back. Sarah, where are we this morning?
We are starting our morning at JC Saddington Park.
Looking for a pretty special bird, right?
Yep, looking for a reported Western Grebe.
It was seen yesterday.
Yesterday was the most recent, yeah.
And a few days before that it's been showing up here and there. We're going to take a look for that, stay tuned. The Western Grebe had been sighted around this channel of the Credit River. JC Saddington Park is one of many lakefront parks found around the shore of Lake Ontario. This particular park is in the city of Mississauga. You can see the Credit River on the eastern edge of the park where it flows into the lake. Out on the water today we were seeing mallards, mute swans, these buffleheads, and the other usual expected species, but no Western Grebe. We looked for a while but we saw no sign of it. On a tree behind us, new bird, brown creeper, making its way up the bark here. Across the Credit River, 4 crows on top of an industrial building. We heard the call of the fish crow, but we didn't see which one of these 4 crows had vocalized. American crows and fish crows are visually almost indistinguishable. Fish crows are usually smaller, and this second crow is clearly smaller than the other ones, but without watching closely and seeing which specific individual made the fish crow vocalization, we're not going to count it. We have to be able to visually confirm birds before we count them. Elsewhere in the park, some things we can be more certain about, like this hairy woodpecker tapping and groping his tongue around in this tree. And a song sparrow, first seen in our last video, but posing more nicely for us on this occasion. As things warm up in Ontario, American robins become more visible, searching for food in the now thawed out soil. Okay guys, unfortunately no sign of the Western Grebe. A couple of other birders told us that it tends to show later in the day, so we may return here. In the meantime we're going to head somewhere else. We did get a brown creeper, that's new for the year, so not a complete loss. As we research where to go next and hop into Jason's truck, we're going to do a bit of a flashback because last weekend we went to the London area in Ontario. A little bit of a washout, really bad weather, but we did see a couple of interesting things, including a new owl for the year. So let's go take a look at that and we'll be back shortly. At the end of March, we had a weekend away in London, Ontario, and visited a few of our favourite spots there, including Westminster Ponds. The weather wasn't good enough for us to do a full video in London, but we did see a few notable species, beginning with this horned grebe, which is just starting to form some of its breeding plumage. A little further along the boardwalk, there's a swamp. Not much bird life here, but worth a listen. That's the sound of the first frogs of spring beginning to call. I think that these are spring peepers that you can hear. A quick trip to Fanshawe Conservation Area and a break in the rain meant we were able to track down this eastern phoebe. We heard its phoebe call from a nearby parking lot and we eventually got good looks. Not much to see at a very rainy Uplands North wetland, but we did witness this cool courtship behaviour between 2 killdeer. And at another location that I can't disclose for reasons that will become obvious, first we had a close encounter with a red-tailed hawk that was hunting the area. But then, what we came for, great horned owlets, new bird. We were a little bit disappointed to begin with that the owlets weren't really showing very clearly, and the view of the adult mother wasn't much better. But after a little bit of patience, we did eventually see one of the owlets engage in a little bit of preening. Okay, let's leave London behind and get back to the Mississauga area. Time to leave JC Saddington Park. We decided to give the nearby Rattray Marsh a try. We saw some deer skunking around in the phragmites. And tons of red-winged blackbirds staking a claim on their chosen territory, just like you'd expect. Hermit thrush had been reported here, but the only thrush genus that we saw was another American robin. Okay everyone, welcome back from that little detour from London. Meanwhile, we've tried a couple of places without much success, so where have we come to next, Sarah?
We are at Lakeside Park in Mississauga.
Reports here of a few different birds, including
Hermit thrush, yellow-bellied sapsucker, and ruby-crowned kinglet.
Unfortunately, none of those have been sighted. We picked through a lot of kinglets, but they were all golden-crowned, tricky things to catch on camera, but we picked through what we could. No ruby-crowned, unfortunately. That's a bird we still need. However, we have been seeing a few swallows today, tree swallows flying around. Unfortunately, they're not landing and that makes them tricky to get on camera, but I'm pretty confident I just got a shot of a tree swallow flying past on the lake behind us, so that's a new bird for the year. It's so good to see these tree swallows, a really strong indication that we're leaving winter weather behind. It feels like a lifetime ago when we were dressed in t-shirts in lovely warm weather in New Jersey last year, watching thousands of tree swallows heading south. I think we're probably going to take lunch at this point because not much else happening here. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a sec. Okay everyone, we have come back to
JC Saddington.
We're hoping for that Western Grebe. We got information earlier on that it likes to show up later in the afternoon, so stick with us. Let's see if we can find it. Be a pretty good bird to find in Ontario. Back at JC Saddington, we spent ages looking for the Western Grebe on the lake and the Credit River. A dark bird flies low over the water, a double-crested cormorant touches down on the river. A trio of them here, the centre one struggling with a large fish. With not much going on, Sarah, Jason and I separated to try to cover more ground for a while. Okay guys, we have spent about an hour at JC Saddington Park looking for this Western Grebe. We haven't given up yet, we're going to keep looking for it, but at the beginning of this video I did mention a couple of pieces of news for you, a couple of announcements. The first one is a little bit sad. If you didn't watch our last video, at the very end I mentioned we're having a bit of trouble with an elderly relative who isn't doing so well, Sarah's grandmother, who we're both very close to. For me, when I first came to Canada, no job, no money. It was Sarah's gran who took us in, let us live there with her for a while. Sarah's very close to her, she lived with her for much of her younger life, so a bit of a difficult time for us, but thank you for bearing with us. We're not bringing out videos as much as we would like to, but hopefully it will resolve itself soon and we'll get back to doing a video once a week at least. Bear with us. Big thank you especially to our members who are paying for extra content. We haven't given you as much extra content as we would like. Thanks for your patience. We'll get back to it as soon as we can. Some better news, travel plans. After this video, we have a trip over Easter, and then the next video after that, we are going to Arizona. It will be our first time there. We're expecting to get lots of lifers, lots of new birds. I know there's a bit of a political thing going on at the moment with the US and Canada. I don't really want to get into that, but I will just mention that this trip was booked at the end of last year. So I'm not sure what's going to happen after Arizona, but stay tuned, you'll find out when we know. Anyway, I just wanted to share those couple of pieces of news with you. Let's get back to looking for this Western Grebe. I joined back up with Sarah and Jason and we decided to focus our search on Lake Ontario. We watched some familiar species over the water, but did manage to spot a couple of new ones while we staked things out. This tern flew back and forth along the shore. Forster's tern and common tern are both expected in this area. Forster's arrives slightly earlier. We've had a tough time determining which of the two species this is though. We've gotten feedback from several people, several apps, several websites. Most other people that observed this tern on eBird recorded it as a Forster's tern. So we're going to go with that, but we're not totally sure. We welcome your thoughts and feedback in the comments. What do you think this tern species is? Besides the tern, half a dozen Bonaparte's gulls also passed by throughout the afternoon. Jason's scope gave us 60 times magnification. Now, under excellent conditions, you can identify larger birds up to about 1 to 2 kilometers away at this level of magnification. So we were able to make out redneck grebes at great distance. We suddenly got an update on the grebe. Okay, so we just got news from another birder who saw the Western Grebe over by the mouth of the river, so heading there now. After all this time, the Western Grebe was back in the Credit River channel where we had started. The bird got closer, giving us our best ever views of this species, spinning in the water and frequently diving. The grebe was working its way slowly towards the lake, but at one point it briefly popped up right next to me. Startled by my presence next to the water, it soon dove again. Okay guys, we got the Western Grebe really close in, excellent views, best views we've probably ever had. We have seen it before in California, not as good of views as that though, and we've seen it once before in Ontario at some distance, maybe as much as a kilometre or more away. So really pleased to get that. That's a bird that we weren't necessarily expecting to get. That does us for this video. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and please leave us a comment too. Not so many comments recently. Just say something. Sarah, what else should they do?
If you haven't already, please subscribe, and after subscribing, if you select the bell, you'll get notifications of new videos.
We'll be back as soon as we can. It might possibly be an Easter long weekend video after this one. Happy birding, see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.